This program is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised.
Hello, this is the Horror Fried Podcast. That's Michael Combs.
That's Mike Martin.
And that's Keith Clanton.
Hello, how's your mama and them? Today we have a very, very special guest joining us. She's the winner of 2023's Bloody Disgusting Scream Shrine contest. It's Maggie Blaine.
Well, hello. Thanks for having me again.
Oh my God, we're so
Thanks for coming back.
for you to be joining us again.
I know, it feels like a lifetime ago since Slither.
It was a long time.
Oh, it was like
A
a whole
year.
year.
Well, I will say this has been planned for a while because whenever I talked to Maggie about the movies that we were going to be doing this year or this season, she said she wanted to be on this episode. So I said, okay, girl.
I wasn't going to miss it.
So we are back with episode 19 of our queer horror series. We'd love for y'all to follow along with us. So please be sure to give this season's movie listing a peep over at the Horror Fried Podcast on Instagram. Question for y'all.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you and your friends ever cause a car accident from the back of a school bus, disturbing an ancient witch from a shallow grave and awakening all the serial killers from your small town's haunted past? That ever happened to y'all?
I mean, no, but I did have nosebleeds.
Okay. Well,
That's something.
you're in luck, Mike,
Yeah.
because this movie is all about nosebleeds. Let's set a spell and talk about Fear Street, Part 1, 1994.
Dude, what the hell?
This is exactly why you have no friends.
Look, some guy killed a bunch of people at the mall last night.
Holy shit. Another Shadyside tragedy. Fits the narrative, right?
Sarah fears that. Christ, not you too.
There's no angry, dead witch. The only thing that made him go crazy is this town.
The dude was wearing a Halloween skull mask. How is that not fun? Guys, I think there's someone in the woods.
We're together for one night and dead people are trying to kill us. Maybe we are doomed.
She was so sexy, but so crazy.
Normal bitches don't bleed black blood.
How do we not die? I'm looking at you, witch nerd.
You can't stop it.
Fear Street 1994 was released in 2021. It was directed by Leigh Janiak, and it stars Kiana Madeira, Olivia Scott Welch, Benjamin Flores Jr., and Julia Rehwald. Probably butchered 4 out of 4 of those names, but that's okay. Michael, kick us off.
So our movie opens with Heather working at the local B. Dalton bookstore, and it is about closing time. Her friend Ryan Torres scares her. She asks him to walk her home. And then she gets attacked by a guy in a skeleton costume. A chase ensues with her being stabbed in the chest and the police shooting the killer, who is Ryan Torres.
Is B. Dalton, was that a real bookstore in
yeah.
the 90s? Was it?
Yeah,
Was it?
yeah, I remember B. Dalton.
I don't remember.
In the
B-Dal-
mall.
I
It was
remember
only in
Walden
malls.
Books.
I do remember a Walden book.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
But I
Remember
don't
that.
remember B. Dalton. I thought maybe that was something they made up for the movie.
Oh no, that was definitely a real
I just felt
bookstore.
like everything in the mall was pretty accurate to the 90s.
Oh
They
my God.
did a great job.
I literally, when I was watching it, I thought to myself, I really miss going to the mall in the 90s.
Yes.
Like, 'cause it definitely is not what it used to be, you know? Now you can't drag me to a mall, okay? But like in the 90s, I was like, yes, let's go to Stones River. You
I mean,
know?
the movie Mallrats came out in the 90s. Going to the mall was the thing.
It was.
Yeah.
Your parents used to just drop you off, didn't have a care in the world.
Yes. I mean, it's very true. So,
Did you all grow up with them all?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't grow up with them all.
well,
so.
I didn't either, but Murfreesboro.
You were close to them
was
all.
close enough.
What was
The
your closest mall?
to my hometown was probably 6 hours away. So I was
6
not ever going to
hours.
a mall.
Whoa.
Where was the closest Walmart?
That would have been in Williston, North Dakota, about 2.5 hours away.
Oh my God. So where did y'all What'd you have?
We
Yard
had
sales.
we had Pomida.
You said a
What is-
Pomida?
what is that?
I do know what that is because Ryan's parents used to.
Yeah, it's like a very small store, kind of like Walmart, but they're
They
only in
carry
small
clothes,
towns.
too.
Yeah, they carry a little bit of everything. Shopco, if you ever heard of Shopco, they bought Pomida and they all rebranded as Shopco's before Shopco went out of business.
Oh, okay.
So now there's nothing up in my mom's home.
So where does
hometown.
she buy stuff?
The
Amazon?
grocery store and Amazon.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yep.
Wow. All right. Well, speaking of 90s, let's jump into this movie. Okay, so can I just say The Wrong Number is the book that this lady is purchasing from Heather at the B. Dalton's bookstore. I am a big fan of The Wrong Number. If you can't tell, I'm wearing a Wrong Number t-shirt.
He. Sorry, Keith.
It's okay. You can call me whatever.
He's fitting the
Regis and
theme
Kathy
today.
I think, so let me just say this because I'm a big fan of the Fear Street series. I've read a lot of those books. The Wrong Number is one of the best ones in the series. I feel like it was probably one of the, I don't want to say one of the first ones, but I mean, y'all, there's like 50 plus books in the series. But it was one of the earlier ones, and they ended up coming out with a sequel later on called The Wrong Number 2. So, one thing I wanted to point out, just because I might forget it later, but our main character that comes up later, Dina, there's actually a character in The Wrong Number. One of the main characters, her name is Dina. So, while I think these movies stray pretty far away from the series, like, there's a few things that happen in the book. Obviously, Shadyside, and you got all this crazy stuff that happens in the town. Like, they didn't use any of the stories from the original books, which I'm fine with. But some of the characters, I think, oh, was that named after so-and-so? Because there's more a little bit later on, but Dina, our main character, she's definitely the main character in The Wrong Number.
So there's like Easter eggs.
Yeah, there's Easter eggs. And it's spelled the same way. So
Perfect.
in this movie, Dina's name is spelled D-E-E-N-A, which I think is kind of an uncommon spelling of Dina, right? In the book, it was spelled the same way.
I feel like this movie it gives all of our 90s love and hearts. Like, there's so many Easter eggs and homages in it. It's like crazy.
The music they're playing from the moment the movie starts,
Nine
what
Inch
Maya
Nails.
Hawke is wearing, it's everything about it's perfect. Like the store that's clearly probably supposed to be a Spencer's.
Yeah, it looks like a Spencer's.
It's just perfect. Like they nailed it.
Yeah, where Ryan
Start to
works,
finish.
It definitely looks like a Spencer's. They've got like the lava
The
lamps
black
in there,
lights.
the black light. Everything is black lit. But you know, even in the mall, whenever she exits the store and her and Ryan are talking before she goes to officially close it down, like there's just, it's so colorful. You see blues and reds and pinks and greens, and it's just very,
All those neons.
yeah, it's just very 90s. So something else that I was going to call out, whenever she's cleaning the store and she's getting ready to close, you see all of the Robert Lawrence books. Well, Robert Lawrence is
His real name.
R.L. Stine's name, right? And so you've got a few books. The ones that I can think about are obviously The Wrong Number, but then there's The Surprise Party. I think Sleepwalker is shown. I'm not 100% sure. And then The First Evil, which is part of his cheerleader. It was originally a trilogy, and then they made a few more, but it's a very popular one. So anyways, I just thought that was really cool.
That's very cool.
Well, and when we were watching it, Michael said, "Are those actual titles of books?" And I said, "Yeah, they're literally, that's the cover art and everything for them." So I thought that was really cool. Speaking of The First Evil, when our Skull Mask Killer comes to terrorize Heather, I didn't even realize her name was Heather. Whenever he comes, she holds that book up, right, to stop the knife from going through her. I just want y'all to know that those books are really thin and only like 142 pages. So there is no way in hell that little book would have kept that knife from going through her flesh. And that's all I have to say about that.
I mean, so thoughts on the killer? First impressions. Do you like the mask idea and all of that?
I love it.
Well, it's very on trend. I
It's
mean,
very Scream.
It's very Scream, but it's very that seems like something somebody in the 90s would wear on Halloween. Like, it's very
Well, so obviously, I feel like we would be remiss to not talk about Scream at least a little bit with this, because I can't watch it without hearing Beltrami's
Absolutely.
stuff, and it literally just sounds like the soundtrack to Scream.
You can clearly tell it's the same composer.
Yes.
It's very similar.
Sorry to
go
interrupt,
ahead.
but I think they probably did that on purpose
Oh,
to
for
give you
sure.
the same slasher 90s feel and to kind of maybe give you the feeling of Scream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that whole opening, especially when the killer, catches up to her after he's chased her in the food court and kind of slow-mos a little bit, like it's obviously an homage to Casey Becker in Scream. I love that scene.
Only stabs her in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I love about it, too? Like, I don't know, it just, like, you could feel it, right? Because he stabs her and they fall into the
Yeah.
floor and, like, flying. Like, I thought it was super well done.
Right.
I love that scene.
And you could tell it was painful.
Yeah, and then she's like, kind of like trying to crawl, but like reaching for, there's nothing there. It's just really well done. And she even takes the mask off.
Yes, it's very, very Scream reminiscent.
Yeah, she gets the mask off before he kills her, so she knows who it is.
Only we get to see this one.
Oh, yeah.
Only we
So-
get to see it. Exactly. And then, of course, our Sheriff Nick Good comes in and shoots him in the head as poor Heather takes her last breath.
Bleeds out.
Yeah. So,
And so they were just friends, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
But she's clearly heartbroken because she's like, it's me.
Yeah.
Like-
And like it was very like dramatic the way they like positioned them like
Yeah.
there, where because didn't he like lay like on her? It felt very like, well, kind of like Romeo and Juliet-ish a little bit. But so I was like, I mean, are they just friends? Were they like lovers?
Maybe it was supposed to almost be like Sydney and Randy. Like,
Yeah, like a friendship.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
he actually liked her more or vice
right.
versa.
Right.
The next morning, we meet Dina. She is putting together a breakup box of her ex's stuff and a note to give to her ex, Sam. We meet Dina's brother, Josh, who is chatting with someone on AOL about the murder and previous murders and the fear... Is it Fear? Witch?
Yeah.
Fear Witch and her curse on the town of Shadyside. We then also meet Dina's friends, Kate and Simon.
So what song did they play?
I'm only happy when it rains.
Yes.
I'm a big Garbage fan over here. We
Yes.
actually just saw Garbage a couple
We
weeks
did.
ago. It was very good.
Love
and
Shirley
people went fucking
Manson.
crazy when she sang that song. I'm just going to throw it out there. Didn't she? She
She started off like a ballad and then
Yeah.
very slow and then went into it.
You had a lot of happy people in the audience.
I just have one question.
Yeah.
What was your AOL Instant Messenger name?
So glad you mentioned it because I wrote that in my notes. Michael, what was yours?
We did not have AOL up in Glasgow, Montana, so I did not have AOL.
Well, did you have an instant messenger of any kind at any point in time?
I probably had Yahoo Messenger, but
Okay.
that
Okay.
was 1,000 years ago, so I do not remember.
You don't remember what your username was?
I don't.
I find that hard.
It might have been Godzilla 44.
Okay.
maybe.
That sounds on brand.
Yeah.
Surprised it wasn't something to
Maybe.
do with Gremlins.
No, that's just my Hotmail email that I still use.
I mean, same. I still use my high school email
to
for
be
everything.
Fair, MSN Messenger, you could have used that Hotmail account so maybe it was actually Gremlins.
I don't think I was really chatting with anyone. I was on gay.com if I was chatting with anyone.
Oh, but I bet you are.
I remember gay.com though.
Yeah, I do too.
I
God.
don't.
Manhunt.
No, that was before my time. It was
What,
gay.com.
Manhunt?
Yeah, it was
Do you remember
gay.com.
Manhunt?
Yeah.
I know you remember Manhunt.
I mean, when I first started going to Prides, I remember Manhunt was like set up at Prides, like they had a booth
Oh.
or whatever
Got it.
where
Got
they'd pass out condoms that had Manhunt stickers on them
Really?
because people use those.
Yeah, they do. It's coasters.
Yeah,
Yeah, and for all you kiddos that maybe don't know what Manhunt is, back in the day before there was Grindr, it was, I would compare Manhunt to like MySpace, but it was, for gay men, and you could post pictures of your penis if you wanted to, or whatever you wanted, and it's pretty much like a hookup site, I guess.
before we had social
Yeah,
apps.
before you had like apps to do it. Mike, what was yours?
So I had two
Uh-huh.
because I had AOL, but then they came out with AIM.
Yes.
So my AOL one was just Rocker R, And then my AIM one was Limp Fuel Fanatic.
I feel like I remember that.
Well, yeah, because that's what I talked to you on.
Okay. Maggie?
Okay, my AIM was AAR Fan 89. And do you know what the AAR stands for?
All American Rejects?
Good job.
Yes!
So you were a big All-American Rejects fan.
Yes, actually. I lived in Stillwater, Oklahoma for 6 years, and that's actually where they're from. And my brother actually went to high school with them.
Oh.
Yes, I've
Wasn't
actually
was his
met
name
the
Tyson?
band. Yes, Tyson Ritter. I have a picture with him.
Is he nice?
Uber nice and uber cute.
I always thought he was so beautiful.
He was so sweet. I went to one of their concerts when I was a junior in high school, and my brother, it was weird because I went with one of my best friends, and he went with his friends because we're 8 years apart, so he was too
Can't
cool.
be seen
He
together.
was too cool to hang out with me. But he was going to go hang out with the band after because he knew them. But he was nice enough to talk the band to come out to meet me. Aww. And like there were all these, nobody was there, but I'm like waiting by the gate to like meet them. And he brings the band out to meet me, get some pictures, and all these girls like swarm the bus. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, because they came out just to meet me. And I felt so bad about it because then they're out there taking pictures with like everybody. But I was like, my brother does love me.
Do you still have those photos?
I do.
I would love to see.
Does your brother still like communicate with them? Is he still friends with them?
I don't know if he like really chats with them, but like he did back then. So that was like in the mid 2000s, like 2010. No, I'm lying. I'm off. That was like 2006. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I was gonna say because Swing Swing came out when I was still in high school.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it was good.
Because I loved that whole first album.
Mm-hmm. I like that song for sure. Do you like them, Michael? Oh, and he actually had
I can't recall any songs they sang. So
what about I'll keep? Oh, that was super flat. My bad, guys. I'll keep
Move
my
along.
dirty little secret.
Oh, that's them.
And
Yeah, I like
then
that song.
when you see my face, hope it gives you hell.
He also played in The House Bunny.
He was also in Missing You Already with Drew
Oh,
Barrymore
he was
and
the love
Toni Collette.
interest. And
Yes.
you
He
did
was
say
the
that.
love interest for Emma
Yes.
Stone's character.
That's
yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So do you remember what my AIM username was, Mike?
Yeah, wasn't it Yay for Keithy?
That was my.
What?
God.
Sorry.
No comment.
But didn't you have like just BK Clanton at some point?
Yes, I think I did. Maybe.
I'm pretty sure you
I don't
did.
know, but it was definitely Yay for Keithy starting out. I thought a lot of myself back in the day.
Back in the day. Still.
Do you remember on?
He was Homecoming Queen.
Queen?
I was not.
Yeah, girl, he's Queen all the time.
I didn't win though. I'm so bitter about it. But anyway, do you remember on AIM where you could set your like away message?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Be like, doing homework, y'all. BRB, LMFAO.
Mine was
LOL.
always song lyrics because I was so emo.
Oh yeah, everybody
Girl, that
did
was
song
literally my
lyrics.
life. My whole MySpace was nothing but song lyrics.
lyrics.
And
Okay, so I gotta say this, getting us a little back on track. So this is when I looked at Michael and I said, "This is supposed to be 1994, right?"
I know where you're going with this.
AIM was definitely not around in 1990. I'm not saying AOL wasn't. I don't really remember the boom of that. But I feel like the instant messenger stuff did not happen until like maybe 95, 96.
Yeah.
And then even Garbage's album didn't come out until 95,
single didn't
right?
come out till September of 2005.
2005?
I'm sorry.
95.
Oh, I was about to say they were way off.
I was like, wow, a whole decade?
1995, so they were a whole year off.
But
Wow.
and that's not the only time, and I'll bring it up again later. But I just sat here and I was like, 94. That just seems like really early for instant messaging on a computer. So
Yeah.
I would agree.
Well, yeah, because I
Right?
mean, if we're sitting here talking about remember using it, I certainly wasn't 9 years old on AOL Instant Messenger.
I was 4 in 94.
So,
Oh, I lied. I was 5. Excuse me. I was 5 in 94.
yeah, I just feel like it didn't really, because I was in high school when I used it a lot. So I feel like, God, 2000, 99, 98. Like
In
it's-
1994, I remember a lot of people still didn't have internet yet
right.
in
Yeah.
1994.
Because I don't think I even had internet until like 98.
Same. Jinx.
Yeah, so I thought, I feel like this timing is a little
off.
off. Yeah, no, let's say he was emailing back and forth with somebody. I probably wouldn't have thought much about it. But
You've got mail.
Yes, but that was clearly like
Okay, Tom Hanks.
aim, right? So I don't know. That's just my thought on it.
It's okay. I like to nitpick at things too.
Yeah. Well, okay, and so
Well, this is where we get the name of the two towns.
yes,
We get Sunnyvale
Sunnyvale.
and Shadyside,
Yes.
Which-
light and dark to me.
Well, and you said so. Shadyside's in the books.
It is in the books.
Is Sunnyvale?
You
Because
know,
I automatically went to Buffy
Yeah.
because
Well,
there's a Sunnydale.
I'm trying
Oh,
to
yeah,
think.
yeah.
In the, I don't remember in the book if they ever mentioned Sunnyvale. I could be wrong. I mean, it's been a long time since I read some of these books. Now, I do know in the book, like, Shadyside is a town, but there's, like, Fear Street, which is, like, the dilapidated part of town where a lot of the poor people live, and where a lot of the crazy stuff happens. But then there's also, like, rich parts of the neighborhood, too. So I don't know if Sunnyvale is in there or not. Now, I will say this. In the book, I'm pretty sure it's not the Shadyside Witches. I think. I tried to look this up to see if I could figure out for sure, but I think it's the Tigers. And I know their colors were white and maroon.
So maybe they just did the witches and devils for the movie.
For the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is fine. I'm fine with that.
Well, this is where we also learn about the history of
The fear
the
witch.
curse.
Yes.
Because we got 78 was the Camp Nightwing Killer.
Uh-huh.
Then I can't remember. 65 was the next year. Was
Yeah, it
that
started in
was that Ruby
16,
Lane?
66, I think it was Ruby Lane.
And then she mentions 53 as well because I wrote all those dates down.
Yeah, so every couple years, there's something that happens, and the town is pretty much cursed, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you're listening to this and you've seen all three movies, like, obviously, there's a lot of stuff that happens in part 2 and especially part 3, but we're not really going to talk about that.
This
We're
is
just going to
94.
pretend like we've never seen those, and we're just going to focus on the first one.
Yep.
Because I feel like okay, so Josh is sitting here talking to this person. We
Yes.
don't know who this is, but like clearly him and this person feel like this is some like they're catching on to the conspiracy theory
right off the
of
bat.
Of this
what
curse.
is happening, whereas everybody else just thinks that
They're oblivious
Shadyside's
to it
crazy.
or something?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, there's like some other crazy person's killing people.
yeah,
Yeah.
which I think is kind of cool
Yeah.
because then
They're-
I'm just like, so Josh is like the smart one.
Yeah. Well, and then you can, and I don't know if we'll talk about this at all later, but you can see that he's got a bulletin board full of,
Oh yeah,
you know,
He's like
articles
detective.
and, like,
he has a
he's-
detective.
Yeah, it's like he's a little obsessed with this story, right?
which if I had something crazy like that in my town, I'd probably be like,
Paying attention to it.
I would
Yeah.
probably do something like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would be into that. Now, I will say, so we meet Simon and Kate, right? We've already talked. You talked about that in your intro.
Yeah, I just said that they
So
meet them.
I can't remember for sure. Now, again, there's a lot of books in the Fear Street series, but Simon sticks out to me because in the books, on the end of Fear Street is a burned down mansion that was built by Simon Fear.
Oh.
And his family's who the street's named after, right? And there's a trilogy that R.L. Stine came out with that talks about the Fear family, and then there's another set later on in the series that talks a little bit more about him. But that stuck out to me.
But it doesn't.
Simon Fear. Okay.
But those stories don't have anything to do with Sarah Fear.
I don't think so. I could be wrong. But again, it's been a long time. But I do know that Simon Fear's mansion is dilapidated. It's burned down. And it's at the end of the street. And they won't bulldoze it because they think it's cursed. Because they talk about it a lot in the books. But anywho.
Simon gave me very like Stewish vibes.
Yeah, I could see that.
He's like the goof.
Yeah. He's definitely, I would say, a fan favorite. I definitely enjoyed him.
Yeah.
I also like that Kate, our resident drug dealer, is also a cheerleader and valedictorian.
Right.
Yeah, she's got both sides.
Like, she is literally doing everything.
Look, she's got a side hustle.
And look, she wants to get into a good college.
Exactly.
Okay? College is not cheap. So she's going to sell those, what does she call them? Candies?
Blueberries and bananas.
Bananas.
Yeah.
I guess that brings us to... Well, before we go that, I did get another song that I love, Damn, I Wish I Was Your Lover by Sophie B. Hawkins.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like that scene, like when they're Is that where we're going next? Is the school? Or is that... Did you
Yes.
just bring that up just because?
Well, in my notes, that happens before we go to the next scene.
Because, yeah, like, that whole scene where he's walking through and Sophie's playing, I was like, oh, man, I love this song. But then there was, like... They, like, 3 songs back to back, all in that one little scene.
The soundtrack
They
is
sure
great.
do. I wish they would have released a soundtrack.
With
Was
those
it just a
songs.
score?
Yeah, not just the... I mean, I have the score, but, like, just the songs that are played
Right.
in the movie.
Yeah.
Look, I'm a soundtrack hoe. I love a soundtrack.
I'm sure the playlist is on Spotify.
Oh,
Yeah.
probably.
So later that day, they all load up on the bus to go to Sunnyvale for a football meet. They hold a candlelight vigil for the recently departed. Sam and Dina get into a fight. While this is happening, a fight breaks out on the football field. It's Sunnyvale versus Shady.
So this is when we find out that Sam's actually a girl.
Uh-huh.
Which, I don't know about y'all, and maybe they alluded to this a little bit when they were promoting the film series, but when she's in her bedroom and she's writing that letter to Sam, like,
Yeah.
I just automatically knew, oh, it's a girl.
Really?
There was never any doubt in my mind that it was a guy, so I wasn't surprised. But, again, I can't remember if the preview showed, like, maybe them together or not. I can't remember.
I can't either.
I can't either, but I also feel like that first time I watched it, because they show her like looking in the direction of Sam and Peter, and I remember watching it and being like, oh, okay. Like, I looked at the guy first. Like, I didn't even look at the girl.
Yeah.
I mean, well, sounds like real life.
Yeah.
But like, but when we find out that Sam is a girl, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely thought it was going to be a guy, but then when it ended up being a girl, I wasn't surprised.
Right.
So, like, while I was picturing it being a guy, when it was Sam, I was like, okay, cool, it makes sense. Like, so while I was, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What I liked about this movie, though, is it's set in 94. Obviously, there's some issues with, like, Sam's mom not liking them together, which that kind of, I mean, kind of like a subplot that doesn't really have anything else to do with the movie. And I think Peter maybe mentioned something, but aside from that, like, all of their friends are pretty accepting of the fact that, yeah, Dina's a
doesn't even
lesbian and
matter.
she's
Yeah.
dating a girl.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool to
Right.
show, you know.
I mean, I think it's kind of progressive to have a movie set in 1994 that dealt with anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Because
agree.
we certainly didn't have that back then, for
Yeah.
sure.
No, I will say, I don't blame Sam for hooking up with Peter. Because I'm just going to go ahead and say it now. Peter's fine.
See, and I didn't think so.
I didn't think so.
I didn't think
either.
so.
I do. Well, here's my thing.
Honestly, I thought Simon was cuter.
Simon is adorable.
Better personality.
Definitely a better personality. But Peter, so I follow the actor on Instagram, and he's very handsome. And he's got freckles. And I do like freckles. Okay.
You're so random.
I know. But he's cute. He's not as
Things
cute as
I
you
didn't
know.
notice in this movie at all, actually.
I noticed freckles. Anyways.
Me either. He does notice freckles because we watched that rock. This is way off topic. We watched that Rock Hudson documentary last night, and Doris Day popped up, and he's like, "Oh, she has freckles."
I love a freckle.
So he does notice freckles. I will say, give him
Except
that.
for, I will tell y'all this. Some of y'all are out there getting freckles tattooed on your face. Y'all need to leave that shit alone. You aren't meant to have freckles, okay? So stop it. Anyways.
So this is where we get the nickname Shadyside, and then we also find out it's the Sunnyvale Devils, and then we also get to meet what's his
Peter.
name? Peter,
Yeah,
the boyfriend.
Peter.
We find
Peter
out
Pumpkinator.
who her boyfriend
Jackass.
is. Sam's boyfriend
Right.
is Peter. Then Sam and Dina go off. I don't know where they go off and
It's
talk.
just like-
Well,
like a
Dina's
alley.
like mopey, and then Sam just kind of comes up.
Yeah.
Because, and I guess we didn't mention, like, they're all there because they have to be. So Sam is a cheerleader for Sunnyvale, and Dina is in the band at Shadyside.
And Simon is the mascot.
He's the mascot.
Right.
Yes. So
And
that's
of course,
why they're
we
all
already
there.
know Kate's a cheerleader.
Right.
Probably the head cheerleader.
And aren't they there for, like, the memoriam of
Yeah.
The
Heather?
candlelight
They have that
vigil
candlelight
thing.
visual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Visual.
Well, because
Vigil.
they make
Not
a
a
comment
visual.
about, which, I mean, I guess is pretty telling of the town, when they talk about, like, yeah, nobody from, what was it, Sunnyvale showed up other than
the ones that had to be
the
there.
football players and the cheerleaders, and that was literally it. Like,
Yeah.
nobody else cared. which is kind of shitty. But what did they say? They said
They're
this is
rival
like an
towns,
every
though.
other week type
Yeah.
situation too.
It's like not a shock to them that
Did-
this is happening.
Did Shelbyville have a rival? Like, what was your number one rival?
Oh, God,
Well,
I know
but
we
you have to
did.
think, I didn't go to Shelbyville City School. I went
You
to
went
one,
yeah.
like, in Unionville. So I guess Unionville's biggest rival was, like, Chapel Hill, which nobody's heard of. Why are we talking about this?
I'm just curious. What was your guys' rival, Maggie?
Oh,
The-
God.
the
Our
Forest
football team.
Rockets.
The Forest
That's what
Rockets.
they were called. Yeah, we were the
Oh, my God.
community Vikings and Vikings.
Well, I'm just going to say it. Our football team was horrible. I don't think there was a year at all I was there that they were good. But I think our biggest was probably Fishers or Westfield. We were Noblesville. And yeah.
Girl, we didn't even have a football team. We did basketball, and they were barely any good at that.
Our soccer team was amazing. Both the men's and the women's. But football, basketball, we were terrible.
Oh, we definitely had rivals. Like
I was
if
gonna
it
say,
was
who's your rivals?
I
'cause-
definitely did in Murfreesboro.
yeah, because we had like 4 big high schools all in one city, really. So, but ours was because it was like Blackman and Riverdale was like, because I was Blackman, and then Riverdale was our biggest rival. But then there was Oakland and I can't remember what the other.
But these were all schools in Murfreesboro?
In Murfreesboro.
Okay.
Murfreesboro's a big town.
So I mean, we had like 3 or 4 high schools just in my town. But then I had a lot of friends that were in Smyrna, and Smyrna and Laverne was a much bigger rival than mine was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Like they pull like the pranks on each other and the whole nine. I mean, it's wild the shit that they do.
We didn't do anything like that. We were good, God-loving kids.
Because I know like Laverne they have like a hillside like outside their school that
Yeah.
had LHS and like written in stones or whatever. And I know one year like Smyrna went over and rearranged the L to be an S on their hillside and all kind like they just did stuff like that all the time to each other.
Sounds familiar.
Does it?
Did you have rivals?
Yeah, we were the Glasgow Scotties, and our biggest rival was the Malta Mustangs, which they were about an hour away from us.
Oh.
Yeah.
In Montana?
That's so crazy that you didn't have a Walmart or a mall, but you had
We had a
had a
rival.
rival.
Yeah.
We did.
Well, but to be fair, when you don't have stuff like that in your town, like what do people do? They go to the games.
Yeah, you
high
need
school
something to
games.
do.
like you went to wrestling.
I didn't go to anything. I didn't give a shit.
I mean, I was in band for my freshman year, so I was at all the football games and I hated it. And
I loved it.
I guess I was there too that freshman
Like
year.
I didn't mind marching band. I just didn't like actually having to do the stuff.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to go to the football games. That's why I didn't do it anymore after freshman year. I loved concert band. Like I loved like doing the concerts and stuff, but the actual coordination of marching in line and all that was too
Not
much
your
for
Oh,
me.
I did 5 summers of it. I couldn't get enough.
I never went to any of our basketball
She was
games.
like Allison Hannigan over here.
I never went
Oh,
to
yeah.
any
This
of
one
them
time
unless it
at band
was,
camp.
Unless it was a homecoming game. That was it.
I'm not going to lie. I got my first kiss at band camp.
Aw.
And he fingered you with a float.
I was a flag twirler.
Okay, so the flag then.
So you were in color guard.
Oh, yes.
I actually remember. God, we are getting way off talking about all
We
this.
are.
But like, I remember like being in band and being like, I want to do that. Like, I wanted to do that over play in band. But then I also used to want to be a cheerleader. So there's that.
Hey, cheerleader.
You want to be everything.
Yeah. And I did nothing.
Love that. for you. I guess that brings us to our next part. Okay. So after the fight, everyone loads up on the bus to go back to Shadyside. The bus gets tailgated by Sam and her boyfriend and their friend. Dina wants revenge and opens the back door to the bus to throw a cooler on the car. Before they can throw it, it accidentally gets tossed out the window and smashes into the car, making it swerve off the road and into the woods.
I feel like I got a very Evil Dies Tonight feeling from that bus scene because they're all like hyped up and mad, and Kate's like leading them, and I don't know.
I also okay. Who is driving this bus?
Yeah, what's that bus driver doing? He doesn't
Yeah,
care. She or
seriously.
he does not give a shit.
Well, not just that, these children are literally running around saying we're gonna kill them.
Yeah.
So like,
Look, bus drivers.
They don't get
and
paid
small
enough
towns don't give a
to
fuck.
care.
They're like, I'm driving this bus, and as long as we get from point A to point B, we good.
like I just feel like all those teenagers are just chanting, "We're gonna murder them! We're gonna murder them!" And I'm like, I mean, I don't know that that's like great to just be.
The bus drivers doesn't care.
I mean, I think
It was Freddie.
I was gonna say they probably just got done doing some crystal meth before they took the wheel. So
Sit down and shut up.
yeah, they're not worried about it. I forgot all about Simon mooning them, and you see his little booty.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did moon him, didn't he?
That's
Yeah.
my favorite part of the movie.
What? Shut up.
I'm just kidding. It's not my favorite part. It's my second.
We
favorite
also
part.
see Dina have her nosebleed,
Yes, we see the first nosebleed.
which obviously doesn't really mean anything at this point.
Nope.
But when the car crashes, we see that Sam also is having a nosebleed.
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of like, oh,
Well, and Sam gets the little vision too.
Uh-huh.
She sees the witch, and that's when her nose starts bleeding. Now, I will say this: Dina's nose bleeds, but she is not. I'll just say possessed.
connected.
Yeah, she's not connected. So, I still don't know that I fully understand why she got the nosebleed. Sam, it makes perfect sense. You see Sam, like she's crawling out of the car, right? In the red moss, and comes across, what we find out is Sarah Fear's grave. But she sees a vision of Sarah Fear, and her nose starts bleeding. So that makes sense to me. Is red moss a real thing? Have you ever seen red moss, or is that just for this movie?
I've never seen it.
Have y'all?
No.
I mean,
Was
there's
it
a lot of moss.
Was
in
it
that
actually
forest.
red or was it just like lighting?
No, it's red moss.
red.
Oh,
I'm kind of jumping ahead, but they bring it up a lot in that third
okay.
movie. They talk about the red moth, and in the second one.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know if maybe that was like a real thing, or if that's like to tell us like, oh, this is where she's buried.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I didn't really think about the connection, like why Dina's nose. I didn't even think about that, but that's a good point.
Unless it was just bleeding on coincidence. But
Could've
it
been.
seems awfully coincidental. Like, anyway.
Maybe it was just to establish a connection between her and Sam.
Maybe that was the witch's way of getting the car to crash. Getting her to isn't that when she lets go?
Yeah, of the cooler.
Of the cooler, because they're like, Dina,
Because she
your
doesn't
nose.
actually throw it, right?
Right,
It just-
she loses
She
control.
like lets it go and it
Kinda
just kind
drops
of.
it,
Yeah, because they're like, Dina, your nose. Like maybe the witch like somehow triggered it to like get them to find her.
Gotcha. Well, and then whenever, they stop to check on everybody, like Sam throws up blood. So then you're like, oh, okay, well, this isn't a good sign. Like, nobody just throws up blood.
Yeah.
So obviously at that point we know something's going on with Sam.
We do, and then they get questioned by the Sheriff Good,
Yes.
and that's where Peter says that he's going to get their revenge on them.
He does.
Which brings us to our next part and why Sam or Dina thinks what is happening. So the following night, Dina calls looking for Sam and finds out she's in the hospital. Her mom tells her to stay away from Sam. Her brother and her realize they are being stalked by someone in a skeleton costume. They think it is Peter. Kate and Simon are across the way from Dina's house and are babysitting and getting their pills ready to sell. They realize someone has broken into the house and find Skeleton Man sniffing through their clothes. They meet up with Sam and her brother to figure out what is going on. They decide to go to the hospital to confront Sam to tell her boyfriend to buzz off.
First of all, I think Kate is so funny
Yes.
that she's got those little girls organizing her pills for her.
Yes.
Well, and I think it's funny where she's like, "Don't take these,
any."
you will die."
I know they look pretty, but don't eat any of them. They ain't candy.
And then, like another homage. I kind of feel like this is paying homage to Halloween with the little babysitters and
Totally.
the across
Oh, yeah.
the way with the little lights and all this
Yeah.
stuff and
Yeah.
the phone calls and all.
Yeah,
I mean,
because they're...
Being stalked by someone.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just felt like when I was watching it and there was Skullface, I don't know. Like, I know that she thought it was Peter, but I never thought it was Peter.
No,
I
I was
didn't
like,
know.
this is
Yeah.
Skullface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever Skullface is, you
Right.
know, like, I was like, this is Skullface. Yeah, I do love that. They go in, so he breaks into Kate's house, the house Kate's
Babysitting at, yes.
and sniffing underwear.
T-shirt.
T-shirt.
Well, underwear.
Everything.
Yeah,
he reminds
whatever.
me of Scary Gary in Valentine. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Marley Shelton,
Yes.
her neighbor.
Oh,
He's sniffing
that pervert.
the panties, and then he gets killed with an iron. Anyway,
He's gross.
yeah.
I
he
was
is
thinking
gross.
also like the Creeper
Oh yeah,
Jeepers
the Creeper
Creepers.
does
Yeah.
that 100%.
with Justin Long's.
Oh, God. Yeah, sorry. I'm not a Jeepers Creepers fan, but I do remember that.
Oh, we love Jeepers.
We all
Creepers,
love Jeepers
the Horrified
Creepers.
Podcast.
No.
That's okay if you don't like it though.
But that's also like our first
Each their own.
little
Yep.
foreshadowing into they're clearly into Sam's blood.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And I also like the foreshadowing of, before they meet up and they decide to go to the hospital, Kate asks Miss Lane to watch the kids. And, she used to be a nurse. Well, Miss Lane, you find out, is Ruby Lane's mother.
Yep.
So that I thought that was kind of cool. Watching it back, I guess you don't really think about it when you're watching it the first time, but then you watch it
Yep.
back and you're like, oh, that's Ruby's mother. Okay.
So, at the hospital, they find Sam, who says Peter has been there all night. Suddenly, Peter is stabbed from behind and killed. Sam and Dina run out of the room and through the hospital. The skeleton killer kills a few nurses, and our people escape in an ambulance.
Okay. So this is where we're introduced to, I'm guessing, a customer of Kate and Simon's.
Betty.
Betty.
Nurse Betty.
Nurse Betty. Well, I love
Or Eddie with a B.
Did
I
you
was
think it
gonna
was a
say.
customer? I thought maybe he was helping supply her with pills
Oh.
because he mentioned that he doesn't have access to something anymore.
Yeah, they had to have a
or-
special
okay.
key or
Yes.
whatever.
Okay. Well, they work together.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that you brought that up, Mike, because I love when it shows his name badge and it's very clearly Eddie and he's just put a B in front of it. Like, it's very funny.
Yeah.
His makeup looks terrible.
And you mentioned earlier bananas and blueberries. That's where we find out
Yes,
that it's
that's-
Vicodin and Percocet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Vicodin and Percocet. Okay,
Yep.
I missed that.
Take a couple of those.
Yes.
Yeah, because doesn't Kate... Because the lady at the front desk is like, visiting hours are over. And she's like, can you tell Nurse Betty that he has a patient?
And then Betty
And then
comes
your
in
woman
with-
starts playing... Sorry.
What woman?
Sorry.
Roberta
White Town.
Flack.
No, well, that's what's playing at the nurse's station.
Oh.
But no, like the I Could Never Be Your Woman, that song. Which is also funny because it's Nurse Betty and it's a man, but whatever.
Oh.
Look at you, Mike.
Mike
I know.
catches
Well,
all the
I
music
love
stuff.
that. I love that White Town song.
Well, and then Peter gets it. When Dina goes into Sam's room, they start arguing. And this
Right
is
through the
where
back.
I
Peter gets
like
right in the
how
back.
he gets it.
Well, and this is where you see his freckles. So next time you watch it, pay attention. You can see the freckles on.
Pay attention.
Well, excuse me.
y'all.
I was looking at the knife through the chest.
I was looking at the freckles.
Y'all have homework. Find the freckles.
Find the freckles. Yeah, no, I like that scene. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Dina is just fucking convinced it's Peter, and then oop, Peter's dead.
Yep.
I know, and it's funny because like Dina never. It's like it just goes unspoken at that point. She's like, oh, "Okay, well, I'm sorry,"
Bye.
but she never does,
mistake.
obviously. But it's just funny because
Yeah.
I mean that the build up there with them getting so like angry at each other,
Yeah.
and
Right,
yelling,
right.
and then just
Totally.
yeah, I loved it.
Well, and I like too after they leave the room and they run down the hallway, and you've got Simon, Josh, and Kate just standing there like, "What the fuck?"
With all their vending
they're
machine
like, "Run!"
Their
snacks.
vending machine snacks, yes. And then they are like, "Run!" And they are taking off, and they're still like, "What's going on?" And then here comes Skullface, and Kate just screams bloody murder, and Simon like pulls her away. I
did like
scene.
that.
I
scene.
just really love Simon and Kate.
Me too.
And
Are we ever going to talk about the elephant in the room?
What's the elephant in the room?
At least on the first watch, she's kind of grown on me.
oh, are you gonna talk about Sam?
I don't really like Sam or Dina.
I don't like Sam.
I don't like Sam.
I think
Sam is boring.
Dina has grown on me. I mean, they both have, but the first watch, I was like, no.
Well,
actually-
Dina does this weird thing where it's almost like she's talking out of the back of her throat. Like,
Yeah.
Well, my takeaway from it was, one, because I actually wrote down, I was like, are we supposed to believe that these two actually have chemistry? Because I wasn't feeling it. And then two, I kind of feel like Dina's acting is actually like good, but Sam's is so not good that it makes it awkward.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it almost makes Dina's acting seem like overacting.
I just felt like I liked Simon and Kate so much better, and they're supposed to be like the supporting roles.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
our two main people are just kind of like, one of them just seems so angry the whole movie from like start to finish, and the other one's just kind of boring, like you guys said.
Yeah. I always liked Dina, but I did think Sam. I mean, I hate to say it. I've only ever seen her in one other thing, and it was a show. I don't remember what channel it was on, but she wasn't very good in that either, and I actually stopped watching it.
Yeah.
She was lead.
Yeah, she was the lead character.
I just didn't like her. I like Dina just fine. Like that's fine.
I like her
was
better
just
now, but that first
not-
watch, I was just like, But
Like-
she just seems very angry.
And I just felt like
But
for
I get
Sam,
it because she's supposed to, in the beginning especially, be brokenhearted, and she's, is angry, shady cider.
She's playing the role of an angry lesbian.
Yeah, she is like spot on. But I just really like Simon, Kate, and Josh a whole lot better.
me
Yeah,
too.
I was gonna say even Josh, like that kid did a
Yeah.
really good job.
But I mean, Dina's grown on me, but Sam is still kind of a little lackluster.
kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of like when I first started watching Stranger Things, and I didn't care so much about 11 as much as I cared about everybody else, and
Yeah,
yet
I would
11
agree with
was
that.
like
Yeah.
the main whatever, but all the friends were more like I liked
They were
them
more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
That's how I feel. The friends are more interesting.
Yeah, Sam is the least interesting character in the whole thing.
Which is crazy because she plays such a pertinent role in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Skullface kills everybody there pretty much.
Yes.
It reminds me of a hospital,
Except for those-
because there's literally nobody there.
That reminds me
Except for them.
Rob
Except for all the
Zombie's Halloween
old,
2.
except for
yeah.
all the old patients watching Unsolved Mysteries.
Yes,
I love some unsolved mysteries.
they were watching Unsolved Mysteries. I wrote that in my notes. I'm glad you brought it up. I thought that was
Because
so
they like
funny.
go running by, and that's all you hear is like, "What's his face on Unsolved Mysteries?"
Yeah, Robert Stack.
Why
Is
did
that his name?
the admitting nurse get killed?
I mean,
Because she. Was
If we want to
there.
talk about continuity, they're after Sam because of her blood. They're after Dina and Simon because the blood's on
Okay.
them. Why would
well,
Skullboy?
that's true, but I think at this
Kill the
point,
admitting nurse.
at this point, we don't know
It's not till the ambulance where they figure out.
that
They're
they're not
after-
after anybody but Sam, really.
Yes, and
So-
them because of the blood on the t-shirt and the shoes. Yes, but why would the
That's
admitting
true.
nurse
Well,
and
I
Nurse
mean-
Betty get killed?
I was gonna say Nurse Betty told him to take the mask off, and that's why he got it. So
That
maybe,
one I can justify.
well,
because
maybe
he got in the
though
way.
it was the same thing for
With
when
the
he walked through the front
Maybe.
of the lobby, and she was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa," and
Yeah.
then he probably just
Get out of my
That's
way.
a good point.
yeah.
That's a
Because
good
at the
point.
same time, you saying that makes me think I'm like, well, what about Peter? But maybe Peter did have some blood on him from the wreck and
Oh,
stuff.
he probably
Yeah.
did. So they make their way to the sheriff's office to seek help. They are not believed, and while Sam and Dina are talking to Sheriff Good, Simon is attacked by who they figure out later is a killer from years ago, Ruby Lane. They once again escape in the ambulance.
I just think it's so funny that these kids are so shameless and fearless that they steal an ambulance, and then Dina steals the cop's gun when they're at the police station.
They go to the police station in the stolen ambulance.
Right.
In the stolen ambulance. Yeah.
And Simon's like actually into Ruby Lane. Remember?
Yeah.
He's
He
like,
is into Ruby
she's
Lane.
hot.
She's sexy as hell.
Yeah.
And then
She's
she-
crazy.
Yeah, and then she attacks him. I do love that scene. Of course, that's
Yeah,
when we
it's
first hear the
good.
little song.
She's creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really effective.
Yeah, she does a good job.
Yeah.
Well, the way that she like stalks down the
Oh,
street
yeah.
with her razor, and she's very dead in the eyes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she's got so much personality in just her walk. It's very good.
I actually like all of the killers.
Yeah, I do too.
They're all really good.
Yeah.
She's kind of like a siren, really.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, because, I mean, the music, like her voice and stuff is what lured him over there.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's just like sitting on the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm. I almost wish that we would get, which they have teased potential, like, future installments of a Fear Street series or whatever. I would like to know the backstory on each of the killers.
Yeah.
Because we definitely do in 1666.
Yeah.
Get the pastor, I guess. We get his.
Yeah.
But aside from Skullface and the Nightwing killer, you don't get much else.
Right.
Right.
And a little bit of Ruby Lane.
A little bit, yeah. But I would like to know more about Ruby, about the milkman.
I was going to say, I know that, like, we haven't, like, gotten to that part, but, like, where they do flash, like, those quick clips of, like, all these other killers, I was like, damn, all those look badass. Why am I not seeing these people?
Yeah, I would like to see some backstory there. I think that would be interesting.
And I know we're not really supposed to be talking about the other movies, but I will say, I don't remember her character's name in 1666, but I thought the girl who played Sam I thought she was better in 1666 than she is in 1994.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I liked her better there.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who shoots Ruby Lane?
I thought it was Dina. She had the gun,
Dina.
right?
Yeah.
So they shoot Ruby Lane. She has black blood, so they know something's up. And
she
then
gets up off the road.
Yes. What?
And she gets up off the road.
Yep.
She can't
so
be
then they
killed.
run back into the ambulance and take off. So then Sam relates how she saw a vision of the witch the night of the accident. They make their way to the scene of the accident to try and give the witch a proper burial. The burial doesn't work, and the camp Nightwing killer shows up. They again escape in an ambulance.
Oh.
They love an ambulance.
They do love an ambulance.
Well, look, they got a first aid kit in there.
At least they have a way to escape.
So they do find the witch's grave, right? And they find the chains.
Yes.
I guess not much really happens in that little point in time there. They just obviously find the grave. This is one thing I did think about. Whenever they go back to the scene, this was supposed to be 2 days after the wreck, right? That car is still there. Peter's car is still there.
Oh, yeah,
And
that
I'm
doesn't
like,
make sense.
Wouldn't it have been towed, like, literally the night of?
Yeah.
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 So I thought it was a little odd that it was still there.
And wouldn't they have, like, kind of, like, investigated that area?
Right.
So technically, they would have seen those chains and
I think so.
I was going to
all
say, because
that.
they find the chains and stuff pretty easily.
Right.
But Sam does get another flashback.
Yes.
It's a little bit longer this time. Because I think in the first one, you just see her face, right?
Yeah.
And then I think in the second one, it shows a little bit more. But the Nightwing Killer is my favorite.
Yeah.
I like the way he stalks.
He's
Like,
fast.
Yeah, and
very
his
fast.
movements are really...
Like,
I don't mean
bulky,
this in a
kind of?
sexual
Juggernaut.
way, but, like, they're attractive. Like, if you're looking for a creepy killer, like, I like the way he walks. Like, I'm into it. Like, not sexually. Does that make any sense?
Yeah,
I
it's kind
I'm
of
not
like...
using the right word.
I mean, how
but-
people kind of, like, say that about Michael Myers, too.
Yeah.
Like, his walk.
His walk is eye-catching to me, is what I should be saying.
Yeah,
Like,
it's good.
it's a good walk.
It reminds me a little bit of like a Kane Hodder Jason. Like
Yeah.
his walk is very...
It's
like,
very
it's Kane
stalkerish,
Hodder.
very fast,
Yeah.
very heavy.
I was
like
going
it.
to say heavy is, like, what I would probably...
Yeah.
Yeah, well, even when he's around them, like, obvious, like, there's sound effects. Like, you can hear him walking. Like, he's very heavy-footed.
Yeah. And it definitely, like you said just now, Kane Hodder. Definitely Friday the 13th vibes. But I like him. Like I said, I really like all the killers. Ruby Lane, Skullface, Nightwing. And then the glimpses of we see the other people, they all look cool.
They do.
They do a good job.
So where do they go next in the ambulance?
So then they decide to set a trap, and they go to the high school. There they change clothes, have coitus, and set a trap with Sam's blood that leads into a bathroom. They trap the 3 killers inside and set it on fire, blow it up. They go inside to see the aftermath and see the bodies regenerating.
Let the bodies hit the floor.
Yeah. At this point, they know that, what was it? was it Nightwing that like ran right by them?
Right by
Yes.
Josh, I think.
So like they started to realize, oh, they're not like they don't care about us. Like they're after her. So that's why we're
Well, they
going.
all changed clothes too when they got there, didn't they?
Well, yeah, so they go in the hospital, they decontaminate and like wash themselves.
They
and
all
Simon
have a
has-
little coitus because Dina and Sam hook
Yeah.
up, Josh
Simon.
and Kate make out,
I cannot.
and then
Simon
Simon
masturbates.
self-loves.
I think Josh and Kate may have done more than just make
Like,
out, right?
you know, a first base or two.
It's just weird to me because I think of Josh as so much younger than
An
Kate.
age difference.
Yeah, maybe.
Which really they're probably not. I feel like Josh is probably like 15, Kate's like 17. But he just looks like such a baby.
Baby face.
Well,
this
and
movie.
you can tell that like he's into her, but he's also
Yes.
very immature about it.
Yes.
Like he doesn't know how to like to like her. He doesn't know how to come at her. So, but yeah, like Simon when he comes out and he's like, "Did we all bang?"
Yeah.
And he's like, me too.
And he's like, "Me too." It made me laugh.
me too.
Yeah.
I love that scene.
It's such a good scene.
But I do love the clothes because it's just lost and found clothes. So they all look a fucking mess at this point.
Yep.
Right? They all look crazy.
I do think
There's-
Simon's cute in that scene.
He
Because you
is
see,
cute.
like, his little chest hair, and I'm like, you clearly are not a high schooler, but that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But I also feel like when they're in the bathroom, like, I don't think Josh would have ever made a move if it weren't for Kate. Like, I felt like she was clearly kind of seducing him a little bit.
Yeah.
You know? Like, that's
She
the
was
vibe
giving
I
him
got.
the eyes.
Yeah. She was like, "Can you get my back for me?"
She
I mean,
was-
she
yeah.
obviously knows that he's into her.
Yeah.
So she's like, "Let me make this a little bit easier for you."
Yeah. Well, then I think to myself too, like, okay, she's a cheerleader, valedictorian. Like, there's probably a lot of guys in that school that want to bone her, and she's well aware of it. You know. So she just uses it to her advantage because she's probably thinking, well, if I'm gonna die, I might as well get laid by this virgin. But yeah, do you think they actually like? I feel
I
like
don't
maybe
think
they
they
did.
I
I
don't
didn't
think
think
they
that
had
they-
I don't
sex.
think they did either.
No, but
I-
they
they
probably
definitely kissed,
You know, maybe felt
made
each
out.
other out.
I was gonna say,
maybe
a
some
little
other
over the clothes
things.
action.
Yeah,
But I
a
don't.
little PG-13 relationship.
Yeah.
No, I think maybe she like jerked him off or something.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I didn't get that vibe.
But it is weird watching this movie. Like, obviously, these kids are probably like, especially like Dina and Sam. I'm sure they were at least 18 when this, when they filmed this movie. But anytime I watch a movie now as an adult
That
and
has
there's teenagers, teens with air quotes right there, like messing around, it always makes me a little uncomfortable.
Same.
Oh,
not gonna
that
lie.
whole scene with Dina and Sam, I'm like, oh, I don't like this.
Yeah, like I don't want to watch these two little girls.
Like
get
it just makes me feel dirty.
Well, no, I definitely feel like that has changed for me having stepchildren, because even though my stepson is now 19, I still see him as like 9 years old.
Yeah.
So like it's hard for me to be like, let's watch these 17-year-olds make out, because I'm like, that's my stepson.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
weird.
I mean, yeah, like I have nieces that are 16 and 15,
Yeah.
so they're literally these ages,
Yeah.
and I don't ever.
Yeah,
So
when
sometimes I
picture
just
them
have
doing
to,
something
yeah.
like that,
Sometimes
yeah.
I just have to remind myself that most of these actors are already in their 20s, and then I'm
Right.
like, okay,
Yeah.
it's not so bad.
I really like the little, I call it the Home Alone montage where they're getting all the traps and stuff ready. And I think they did it perfectly, because you think of a movie like Home Alone, that montage is very long, right? Because it's showing every scene that he did. And this is already a kind of longer movie, and I felt like this montage was short and it showed just enough. Mm-hmm. So I liked it. It was a very quick montage to show you this is what they're doing without having to explain anything. So I liked that.
And it was smart. I
Yeah.
felt like they were really smart
They were.
to be like, young and whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have thought to do some of the shit that they did.
No.
They
It's
used
also
her
a movie,
blood.
but-
Yes.
Yeah. What?
That's a lot of blood.
Well, no, I think they put it in water.
That still would be a lot of blood.
Okay, well. It's a
Oh yeah,
movie,
because they just
Michael.
cut her hand, right?
Yeah, they cut her hand, and I think she bleeds into water. No, but to your point, like when you see him with the mop, I mean, it does still look very
Yeah.
red.
Yeah.
Like how much
Michael's
blood-
It
not
doesn't
wrong.
look like
Yeah, you're
diluted
right.
blood.
You're right.
No.
Yeah, yeah. No,
I
you're
mean,
right.
watered down blood would not look like that. So
Yeah, that's true. I actually really like, so after they lure all the killers into the bathroom and they blow it up, I love that, like, reconstruction scene. Like, because you don't really see a lot except for, like, moving globs, like,
Regenerating,
joining. Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
It was cool.
I actually loved that whole scene in general. When they get in there, I loved the visual of, like, each of them opening their own stall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I like that whole... I like the blow up of the bathroom and that whole thing.
I do, too.
Ditto. So, after this, all the kids run away to a classroom and they decide to make Sam go out to the hallway since the killers are after her. When Sam is about to be attacked, they pull her back inside because they realize that a victim from the Camp Nightwing attack has survived because she died and then was brought back via CPR.
C. Berman.
Yeah, so it's like plan B.
Yes.
Need a new plan. Yeah, see, that's all we get, really. And, you know, obviously he plays a very big role in the second and third movies, but you don't get much of C. Bergman in the
at the
first
very,
one, except
very
for a
end.
name and, like,
Right.
a little voice on the telephone. So
They hatch another plan and they decide to go to the grocery store so they can use the pharmacy. They set out a cocktail of pills for Sam to take to die, and then we'll use an EpiPen to bring her back. Josh, Kate, and Simon smear Sam's blood on them to distract the killers when they show up. Sam runs out of time and doesn't finish her cocktail of pills. Kate gets it in... I guess I'll just say it. Kate gets in the bread slicer. Sam gets it in the head with an axe, and just as Josh is about to get it, Sam dies being drowned in a lobster tank. Dina frantically brings Sam back with EpiPens and eventually CPR. They think it is all over.
Now, I have a problem with this. Because I think it's interesting that 1 minute all the kids are like, fuck no, I'm not giving up my life for you. It's not worth it. Like, none of us should die for one person. Let's throw you out into the hallway. You should sacrifice yourself, blah, blah, blah. And then they all change their fucking minds and they're all willing to die at the grocery
right,
store.
we're in this together.
Yeah, like it's just too quick.
It is a very quick change of heart, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now,
if this was Dina that they were willing to die for, I could get it because they're really close with her. But they they're not really that close with Sam.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't really think they have much of a relationship with
No,
Sam at all.
so I
beyond
could kinda
knowing
understand-
that she's Dina's girlfriend.
Yeah.
right.
So how they were reacting at the high school, I understood it. But then they really flip flop at the grocery store.
Right.
It's just really quick for me. I'm just like, ugh.
It is. I think it's sweet. I think it's very sweet and telling of those kids, but it is quick.
Yeah.
I like when they go into the supermarket and Simon is the employee of the month for like
every month.
It's just
He's a good
picture of
employee.
him. It must.
Which you're kind of surprised to know, though. Because he seems like he would be fucking around all the time.
Yeah, coming in late all the time.
Yeah.
And,
Doing what he wants.
yeah, I thought that was funny.
So you have a problem with that. My biggest problem from this whole scene is how they fucking made Sam take all those fucking pills without an ounce of water.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take those pills dry, bitch. Swallow them dry.
Look, I thought the same thing, and when I watched it, I was like, I'm going to have to ask Mike about this, because y'all are probably not privy enough to have ever seen Mike
Take a pill.
take a pill, but it is very, and I'm talking one little tiny baby pill. He takes it, and it's
a
very
process.
dramatic.
I'm
It takes
literally
about-
like a crane eating a fish. Like, I have to turn my head up. I have to, like, go, 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 go.
Look, nobody's going to be able to see this, but I'll do it for you, Maggie. I'll go.
Yeah.
Like it's a quick,
cute.
like whiplash.
Yeah.
Whiplash. I mean,
So you couldn't take 20 pills dry
Absolutely
like
not.
And they're in a grocery store. Could nobody steal her a bottle of something?
A bottle of water. There's
And those
that? She
are
could drink
big
the water out of the
pills,
lobster
too.
tank.
Yeah, well, they hadn't gotten there yet. There were no lobster.
Yeah,
involved.
that whole thing, I'm like, God, you're making her take them without any water.
That's
How's
a
she gonna
horrible way to
swallow
die.
'em?
Well, and to be fair, it's not. I mean, not to jump ahead, but it's not that she runs out of time. Well, she does run out of time, but she throws up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, hello.
Yeah. She was probably gagging on the pills.
Yeah.
They're stuck in her throat.
Yeah.
Literally. So yeah, they've all baited themselves. They've got little bloody red X's, and at this point, we've got to assume that Sam's lost a lot of blood because
They've mopped
Now
her
they've
blood
got
all over the high
X's.
school. They've mopped it all over their
I mean,
shirts.
they give her these pills to try to kill her. Well, you've already done it halfway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just leave her alone.
Like-
She's gonna bleed out in a minute. She's gonna bleed out. It's funny because I actually put in my notes, Mike could never, in all
Ever.
capital letters. And I was looking
I did
at
think
it.
about you too during that scene. I was like,
Yeah, it's funny. No context behind it. I just have Mike could never, and I know exactly what part it's. Yeah. Anyways, so I mean, watching it, like, I just had a feeling Sam was going to throw up. Like, nothing ever works perfectly in movies, right? So I was like, she's obviously going to throw these up.
yeah.
But then our killers come back. So Ruby comes back first. You can hear her singing, of course.
She's back in the back dock area. in
Yeah.
Summer.
And then Nightwing shows up, right?
Yeah.
So which one of them? At one point, Kate is super resourceful, and she has like hairspray and like a lighter or
Isn't
something.
that
Is that
Skeleton Boy?
That's Skullface, yeah.
That's
Okay, so it
Skullface.
might be Skullface, but I really like that
Because she
part.
sets him on fire.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Also, were we surprised that Kate and Simon both got killed?
Yeah.
Yes. Even if I do love Kate's death, I was not prepared for it.
Not both of them.
No.
Yeah.
That was tough.
I think I was a little shocked.
Scream would never.
I know.
Scream don't like to kill nobody.
Every one of them would have been.
Like-
Nurse Betty would have been alive at the end of this movie.
Oh no, they took out Tatum.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about like in these new ones.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
and the
that
new
last-
new
yeah.
ones, yeah, nobody dies in those.
Yeah.
And the new Kate would have been still alive after having her head.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she would have been walking around with her head on.
Looking like a Cabbage Patch doll.
I just remember when this came out, I was shocked at how gory, and then even when you move on into the second and third installments, like, I guess I wasn't expecting for it to be like as hardcore as it was,
Especially
which I
involving kids.
yeah, and so I was actually
Wasn't
really
there like
pleased.
some controversy with this? It was like being released around the time of one of the school shootings or something.
Oh, I don't.
And they
remember.
thought about, because there was a disclaimer that played before the movie.
Oh yes, I remember this.
I don't remember.
And I remember
do.
that. Of course, they've taken it off now because it wasn't on there when I watched it this time. But I do remember it being, because they thought about like postponing it because it had to do with so many like kids dying and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Because even in the second one, I mean, it's obviously gory, but there's two kids in it like fucking, and you see everything, just about. So I was surprised at how adult it actually was.
I would also like to point out that we're recording this today, and it's literally almost exactly a year since this came out.
Yep.
Is it?
Yeah.
2 years.
2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's the anniversary.
Oh god, it has been 2. Feels
It
like
has been
a
long
year.
time. I was telling Michael, I've never been one, so like, you know, when music comes out on Friday, like people stay up super late on Thursday to listen to it. Same with some of these shows. Like if something comes out on a Wednesday, people are going to stay up and watch it on Tuesday. I've never really been one of those people, but when this came out, I woke up literally like 5 a.m. on every release day and watched these and then went back to sleep. Like, that's how excited I was for them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because I'm such a big fan. But anyway, getting back on track. I was kind of surprised that both Kate and Simon got it.
Yeah.
I will say, I think Kate's death was like the best death in any horror movie that year. Like, it was so good.
Damn.
I really do.
It
think it's a great
disturbs
death
me
scene.
because I am terrified of dying like that. Like a meat grinder or any kind of machinery like that. Like, I'm terrified.
Well,
Yeah.
go.
What?
I was a deli bakery manager at Kroger for many, many years. I have never seen a bread slicer like this. I do not
But
think
that may
they
have been a really
exist.
old bread slicer.
With the way OSHA is, there is no way. I'm sorry, this is me. There's no way there's a bread slicer like that anywhere
Because
you could easily cut your finger off.
Oh, okay.
I have never seen a bread slicer like this.
So
I mean, I love the death. Don't get me wrong. I love the death. I love the way it is. It's not realistic to me because you cannot have a bread slicer like. It doesn't make any sense to me. You're pushing bread through. How do you get it all the way through though?
I think there's like a little conveyor under that kind of moves it itself, is the way that I took it.
That still doesn't make sense to me though.
Well, Michael, not everybody went to Cheese University and knows how to cut all this stuff.
I'm just saying.
I will say in the restaurant I worked at, we had a big slicer that was used for meat, or I mean, you could even put vegetables on it.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Really
yes,
sharp.
yes.
And
I do
the
too.
big blade would spin, and then you did this to. I would not go near it. Sometimes it would be like we had to deep clean stuff every so often, and that would be on my list, and I'd be like, oh, fuck that. I'm not touching it. Nope.
I had to use them all the time. I remember my first day, a girl, her and I started, she fucking sliced her tip of her finger off with it.
Damn.
She was bleeding. It bled all over the floor.
I mean, those I don't know how to describe this, but those like the meat cutters where like you have that big machinery piece that like flips out, you put your meat on it, flip it back over, and then it just like slices it, the slicer or whatever. Those always freaked me out.
Anything like that freaks me out. I'm just like, no. Like in Fargo, when he goes through it, you guys know what I'm talking about, right?
The wood chipper?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck no. I'm afraid of all that kind of stuff.
What was the woman that they put in the wood chipper?
No, he puts his partner. Isn't it the one guy put Steve Buscemi in it?
Oh, I don't know. I just know that they tie up the woman, and she's blindfolded, and then she like runs out in the snow, and that always cracks me up. Anyways.
I think
Horror movies love a wood chipper.
Right. Okay.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. So I bought it because I don't know. I've never seen a bread slicer, I guess. So I bought that. Like, okay, yeah, that's a bread slicer. So you've never seen one like that?
No, the only two that I've ever seen at Kroger, you lift it up, you put the bread in, and then it cuts it this way.
That makes sense.
It doesn't make sense to me how you can cut bread this way because it has to be pushed through. How are you going to push it all the way through?
Especially if you're pushing it that way, it's only like this wide.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. The other bread slicer was like a cabinet. It opens up, you put the bread in, and there's a single blade, but the cabinet is closed, and it slices the bread that way.
Huh.
But the way OSHA protocols are, even in the 90s, I cannot.
Can't be like open blade like that.
Yeah, I cannot.
And it was weird because they're not even like blades. They were like little thin.
It's almost like how when you put like when you have a boiled egg and it's like you close it those thin lines or the thin little
Yes.
Well,
that's how the bread slicers were at Kroger. I mean, but they had they were kind of grooved a little bit, but that's how it was.
I'm also really annoyed by this scene because she's clearly fighting for her life, and everybody can hear her.
Right.
Why isn't anyone
Nobody's
helping
concerned
her?
about going to help her.
Yeah.
Simon's too busy looking for damn Ruby Lane to give him a BJ, I guess.
Right.
Like, he is so concerned about her. So, of course, then after her death, we get Simon's, and Simon's is a lot more...
It's quick.
Abrupt, quick, and he gets the axe.
Now they decide they want to...
So time is out. They don't know what to do. They see the lobster tank, and Dina decides to drown Sam in the lobster tank.
Can I stop you just for a second?
Yes.
It is not lost on me at all. The humor in this is not lost on me at all. That when Dina is drowning Sam in that lobster tank, right above him is a sign that says Fish Market.
Oh my God. Because they're lesbians?
And it made me giggle. Okay?
You nasty.
Simon gets axed by Nightwing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I thought was... So where's Ruby Lane right now?
She's
she's
still
singing.
She's stuck in the back dock somewhere.
She's doing a concert.
So she hasn't made it in the store yet.
No, I think she's in the... No, I think she's in the store. She's just in, like, the stock room.
She's just not killing anybody yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting because it kind of seemed like they would like put a killer with like each of the kids, but it seemed like Nightwing went for Josh and Simon when really Ruby Lane was kind of Simon's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's weird
Maybe
to me, which also kind of made me like we're talking about. Were you shocked that Kate and Simon both got it? Well. Sort of, because I didn't expect Simon to get axed by Nightwing.
Yeah.
I expected that to be a Ruby Lane thing.
Yeah. Maybe they thought they needed a bigger person to take out Simon, which would be kind of sexist, but oh well.
Well, and it was that one was a surprise, too. because it kind of came out of nowhere.
Right.
So I liked that it happened. I will also say when Dina is drowning Sam, does it not seem like it is taking a
Forever?
long time?
Long
Like
time.
Sam can really hold her breath in this crusty crab water because
Crusty
I'm sure it
crab
would
water.
be hard though, like actually saying to yourself, "I need to
Inhale this
water."
She's probably fighting her reflexes.
yeah,
and
I'm sure. I just felt like in the movie, like there seems like a lot going on in that time that it takes her.
Well,
to
yeah, I
actually
mean, good
lose
God,
it.
I've seen movies where people die with their heads in a toilet faster than that.
Yeah,
And that's not even as much water.
exactly.
Dramatic effect. So Josh is about to get it, and Sam finally dies, and they all disappear. And then Dina gives her 1,800 EpiPens. The whole time that scene was playing, I'm like, why are you giving her CPR?
Yeah.
Why are you giving her EpiPens?
Well, because that was
The
the plan.
EpiPens were for
Yeah.
the pills.
Yeah, I do, but I think in her head it was like, okay, I got to put this EpiPen to her heart and like get the adrenaline
Yeah,
going.
because like I kind of felt like I was like, this is not Pulp Fiction.
yeah,
Like that's what it felt like though. It was like they were waiting for her to jump up like she does in that.
yeah.
But it was a lot.
That was a lot of
of shots to the
EpiPens.
chest.
Yeah,
Yes.
honestly, I wanted to be like, Dina, just leave it alone. Like, that's fine.
She did.
You can do better.
Oh my God, that's awful.
Well,
So
Sam's boring. Sam is never going to be able to emotionally fulfill Dina.
Oh my Lord,
Okay?
I cannot.
Just leave her at the fish market.
Oh my God. So they're interviewed by the police, our Sheriff Good, for matter of fact, and the whole series of attacks is blamed on Simon and Kate. Later that night, Sam and Dina are cuddling on the bed, and Sam hears the doorbell.
Cute.
Josh has ordered dinner. The phone rings, and it is Christine Berman telling her it is not over. As Sam turns around, she is stabbed by Sam in the stomach with the broken drumstick from earlier in the movie. A struggle ensues, and Dina manages to tie Sam up, saying she isn't herself right now.
I don't like this. Their friends just died and they're cuddling and ordering pizza.
I know. It is.
I mean,
kinda
we got a
weird,
candlelight vigil for people we didn't even give a shit about.
Right.
But then we get Simon and Kate die, and we just
They get blamed for being, what is it, drug addicts? Or
Drug
Yeah.
addicts, yeah. Well, and then they don't really clarify like how long they're like, because there's a little, cause obviously like it's not the same day, right?
It seems like it's the
But
same.
it's super
or maybe the
close,
next
right?
day. It feels like it's super close.
You know what? It definitely is, because when they're at the cops, so they've all like come up with
a
this
story.
and they're all very good and they're sticking with their
fell
story,
on some glass.
which is very smart, right?
they all fell on glass.
They all fell on glass. But whenever Sam's mom comes to get her,
Right.
Dina says, "I'll see you later," and Sam says, "No, I'll see you tonight." So it is the same night.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I don't like it.
Yeah. So this is the end of the movie, obviously. Can I just say the Linda Blair that Sam's character was going for didn't do it for me. Like that very last scene, and it's her like her angry face or whatever, and that's how it ended. I was like, meh, not the shot I would have ended on.
I mean, for me, the best part of that entire scene was when they show that she stabbed
Yes.
Dina.
yes.
And because I loved that. I loved the pull away.
Well,
and then
it's
you
slow
realize, yes.
and- yeah.
Dina's face.
And
has
you don't really
says
know
it
at that
all.
point. You're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, what's happening?
Like,
I almost felt like it would have been a stronger ending if she would have pulled that out of her and then had that kind of dead look on her eyes, and it ended right there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of her like hog tying her essentially and then going down
Getting
to
her
tell
brother.
Well,
Josh,
and then we
"Hey."
get that, like we get the fight scene, like where they're like
Yeah.
tussling around on the
Yeah.
floor and
Yeah.
all that. Like, I don't really feel like all that was necessary. I did love that because since we obviously, the two lesbians were more worried about like making out and putting on a mixtape, but like Josh seemed actually
Tore up.
tore up. Like when he's
Yeah.
talking to his friend online and he's like,
he takes up for him.
he takes up for Kate and Simon, and I was like, thank you.
I know Josh is a good kid.
Yeah.
He is.
I like his character.
Dina got
a
what
lot.
she wanted. She got Sam alive. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just like, oh, sorry about my friends, but I got what I wanted. Like,
Right. And it's like, bitch, you wouldn't have her if it weren't for Simon and Kate helping your ass out this whole movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Anyways, unappreciative. Teenagers in the 90s. All right, y'all, before we move on to our final thoughts this evening, it's
We
time
never
for...
hit those digits.
Huh?
Oh, sorry.
You literally just interrupted me
I did
while I was trying to
interrupt
do
He's
that.
had some drinks.
Oh, my God. Well, speaking of the devil, it's time for Michael's favorite segment, Horror Fright Theater. Mike, tell us what we're doing.
So this movie obviously has a lot of characters in it. So trying to narrow it down to any scene that had just 4 people was
Impossible.
but I think I've managed to do a pretty good one. It's going to be when everybody's going to the hospital to see Sam, and it literally just starts right there all the way up to the point where they're leaving the ambulance. So the killing, the everything.
Ooh.
So get your acting pants on, because we got to be aggressive. We have to be loud and assertive.
I don't know why you're looking at me. You need to be looking at this one over
Well,
here.
so, okay, well, I guess I should probably tell you who you're playing first, because then that's going to determine if you're going to be loud and assertive or not. So, this scene has 7 people.
7?
7.
We're in Friends? 7.
Yeah. So, I've got down Dina is going to be Keith. Kate is going to be Maggie.
Yes.
I'm going to be Simon. Josh, you're going to be Michael, and you're also going to be...
Josh, you're gonna be Michael.
Oh, sorry, Michael, you're going to be Josh.
I'm sorry, Michael, if I just busted your eardrums. I'm sorry.
Freudian slip. Michael, you're going to be Josh, and you're also going to be Nurse Betty.
Yes.
And then, Maggie, you're also going to be Sam.
Are you calling me boring?
No, but somebody had to do it. And then I'm going to be Peter's one little line. So, but I'm also going to do like this narration stuff, and there's a little bit of that. So, are we ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Oh,
Okay.
Do we do
If
the
you-
narrating part 2?
If you stay ready,
Do what?
you ain't got to get ready.
What did you say?
Is the narration read as well?
I'm going to read that.
That's what I
yeah.
thought. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, if you have some sort of narration with your name, don't worry about reading that.
Don't
So,
worry about it.
All right. We good?
Should I go get some peanut butter to put in my mouth while I do Dina's lines?
You just need to be angry.
Okay.
Greetings, maniacs and madmen. This is Dr. Gangrene, physician of fright and Nashville horror host. Coming up next is everyone's favorite segment, Horror Fright Theater. Grab your popcorn and refreshments, pull up a slab, and get ready for the madness.
The gang all enter the hospital to visit Sam and see how she's doing. There's a woman sitting at the front desk filing her nails and informs them that visiting hours have ended. Kate then asks the woman to tell Nurse Betty she has a patient. Nurse Betty walks up to the group.
Betty, long time. How you been?
I see you're still toting around with this moron.
She can't quit me, Betty. I'm too pretty.
Listen, we need your assistance.
I think there's supposed to be a do there.
Okay.
Okay.
Like, what? That doesn't make sense. I'm sure you do, but there happens to be a new security protocol. I kept coming up short on blueberries and bananas. So now I need a special key.
I need to see a patient.
Betty and Dina leave the room to go see Sam. The other 3 stay behind.
Blueberries and bananas?
Vicodin and Percocet. You want anything from the machine? I'm starving.
In Sam's hospital room, we see Sam sitting in bed eating Jell-O.
Cute sweatshirt.
Sorry. What are you doing here?
What do you think?
I honestly have no clue.
Oh, Jesus, this game.
What game? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about your dipshit boyfriend. Last night he threatened to kill us. You're all fucking dead.
That didn't mean anything.
And now tonight he's stalking around messing with us. He broke into the house where Kate was babysitting.
No, Peter's been here.
You need to call him right now and tell him to back off.
Peter walks into the room. Good news, they're going to transfer you out of this shithole tomorrow.
Perfect timing, asshole. Where's your stupid mask?
Back in the hallway, we see Kate, Simon, and Josh at a vending machine. Kate asks both of them for money, to which neither of them have any. Josh then walks up to the machine, puts in a code that unloads all the snacks from the vending machine. Back in Sam's hospital room, the conversation has gotten more heated.
He has been with me all night.
Stop covering for him. He's a bad guy.
You're out of control. You put me in the hospital. Now you're here yelling at me?
Okay, no, that was an accident. Look, I got a nosebleed.
A nosebleed? Stop making excuses. You are total chaos, and you have always been. So don't blame me when you wake up in 10 years just like your dad, old and drunk and going nowhere.
Okay, first, go to hell. Second, yeah, congrats on getting out of Shadyside, Sam. All you had to do was suck it up, literally, and swallow some Sunnyvale.
Sam interrupting. Oh. Sorry, that one was...
That is in a different front.
Yes, it was. That's why it confused me.
You know what? I never want to see you again.
Great. Have a nice goddamn life.
Whew. That was intense, y'all. The girls hear a slice and Peter groaning and gurgling next to them. They see a knife protruding from the front of his shirt. Chaos ensues as the mask killer lashes out towards Sam, and she jumps over the bed, and her and Dina rush out of the room. The other three are in the hall, stocked up on all the snacks from the vending machine. Kate takes a snack from Josh's pile.
Where do you learn how to do this?
Oh, a lot of people trade hacks online.
Nerd.
So, when did you get into the fruit business?
What?
The drugs?
Oh, that's just temporary. Saving up to get out of here.
Take me with you.
Oh.
Meanwhile, at the pound. Stop. Buddy, stop. We're almost done. God damn it.
God damn you, Bernice.
Did you do the...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The three are taken out of the conversation by Dina and Sam screaming and running past them down the hall. The group run past a room full of patients watching Unsolved Mysteries as they get to the front lobby and begin wondering where the keys are, and settle on using the ambulance. Dina and Sam are hiding from the killer behind the nurse's station when they see the front desk woman has been killed. Nurse Betty unknowingly walks into the scene and addresses the killer directly.
Hey, you can't wear that mask.
The killer walks quickly up to him, stabs Betty with the knife through his neck. Oh! Falling to the floor, the killer then sees Dina and Sam crouched down behind the station. Sam screams, and the killer begins chasing them, grabbing Sam. Dina jumps on the killer to distract him. The door to the lobby's open. Kate and Simon and Josh are in the back of the ambulance trying to get them to come outside. Come on, let's go! Sam breaks free of the killer and begins to leave. When Dina looks down at the killer, his mask is off, and she sees Ryan Torres, the supposedly dead killer from the mall massacre.
What the...
Dina and Sam are now both running towards the ambulance from the lobby.
Dina, hurry up, let's go.
Hurry! Dina and Sam hop in the back of the ambulance.
Go, we have to go now.
The ambulance squeals tires and peels out of the hospital parking lot. End scene.
So this is Dr. Gangrene saying goodbye and thanks for joining us here at Horror Fried Theater. See you on the next episode of the Horror Fried Podcast, and be sure and join me every Saturday night for Dr. Gangrene Sanitarium, Saturdays at 9 p.m. on Nashville's NECAT Channel 9 and simulcast on the NECAT Roku channel and drgangrene.com. And as always, remember to stay mad.
Did we ever mention that Skullface was Ryan?
Yeah.
Did we mention that later on, after the fact?
Later on? I don't know.
I don't know if we ever did.
Oh, well.
I don't think it matters.
Yeah. No, I don't.
I mean, at this point, they're all dead, so.
Yeah. Well, because we're not well, yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Edit.
All right.
Well, the award goes to Maggie and that. That was a very good Sam. That was much better than what was in the movie.
Oh, thank you. I felt like I started off kind of, quiet, but then when it was like things got heated, I was like, okay, I'll take it up a notch.
I liked Michael's little ad-libbing, too.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah,
I got stabbed.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know. It just felt right.
Well, good.
Blame it on the alcohol.
Yeah.
It's time for our final finger-licking thoughts, y'all, here at Horror Fried. We rate our films using the heat scale of a Nashville delicacy, hot chicken, on a scale of 1 to 5, no spice, mild, medium, hot, and Nashville hot. Maggie is our guest of honor. Tell us what you think about this movie.
Overall, even though I did nitpick a little bit about Sam and Dina, overall, I really fucking love it. It really makes me happy. Every time I watch it, I like it more and more and more. I just love it. Even with the few flaws it has, I find it almost perfect.
So what rating would you give it? 1 to 5.
5.
Oh.
Nashville hot.
Okay. Can I give it a 4.5?
Yeah.
We work in halves and
we're working
and
quarters.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dimes and
because
nickels.
honestly, which I know we're not really talking about them, but 1978 is a perfect 5 for me. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
But because of the tiny things that bother me about it, I would give 1994 a 4.5.
Okay. Still a solid.
It's
Yeah.
solid.
Solid, hot
It's really
score.
solid for me.
Mike.
I'm right there with her.
Okay.
So for me, it's pretty on par with the second one. This one just caters to all my love of all things 90s. I feel like the soundtrack's perfect with the exception of Sam. I think the acting's pretty great. I love all the killers. It was just so good. And yeah, I would say 4.5 for me.
Okay. Michael.
I'm gonna give it a 4. I really enjoyed it. I loved it. The minute I heard garbage, it automatically got a 4 then. So
Okay.
I can only go up from there.
Yeah. That's all I have to say.
Oh, that's all you have to say.
Say,
okay. Man, a few words.
Garbage.
Yeah. So, honestly, I'm kind of like Maggie where I would give this a 5, 100%. But
Right.
the second one is my favorite. It gives me all the 80s summer slasher vibes that I could ask for. So, if I think on that scale, then I would probably... God, y'all are going to kill me for that. I'm going to give it a 4.75. I love it. Well, and you have to think, like I said, this was one of the few things I've ever gotten excited about. So excited about on Netflix that I woke up to watch it.
Right.
I was a big fan of the book series.
I even remember when this was coming out.
Yeah.
We would talk about it
Yes.
all the time when it first got announced because we were like, oh shit, they're doing a Fear Street.
Yeah.
I remember
A movie.
we
Well,
DMing about
yeah.
it.
Well, and because at one point you didn't really know, was it going to be a series or is it just one movie? How's it going to work? But I think what I like about it so much is it is completely different than any of the stories in the book. But I like that.
Right.
It's fresh, but it gives me all the Fear Street nostalgia that I needed. So yeah, 4.75 for me.
I just like that they didn't shy away from it being so graphic.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because just because it's based off of kind of a teen horror series of books, I was nervous that they were going to be not giving us what we wanted as
Yeah.
far as
Yeah. Well, and when you read the books, even I remember being younger, and some of the death scenes in the books are pretty graphic.
Right.
So I like that. I'm the same way. I like that it was more of a rated R movie than a PG-13.
yes.
Yeah.
So I was very happy about that.
Because hell, I remember in school with the books, you had to be of a certain grade to even check those books out. Goosebumps, you could read all day.
Yeah.
But his Fear Street ones had a little red thing on it in the library at my school.
Girl, that's why me and my mama went to Walmart and she'd buy me some. I didn't have to check them out from the library.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say, fun fact, I still have my entire collection. I'm only missing one book from the series, and I would have
Wow.
the entire collection. It's very expensive. Anybody out there listening knows where I can get a cheap copy of Door of Death. Please let me know. I will take it off your hands.
Another fun fact, when I donated a kidney and was recovering, Keith sent me a care package that included the first Fear Street book called New Girl, and I read it and I loved it.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And it was a really cute care package. So.
Oh, God, yeah, I did.
So I'm happy we're doing this episode together.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
I obviously remember sending you that care package, but I forgot I put that Fear Street book in there.
Yeah, special.
Yeah, it's Fear Street #1. I love that. Thank you all so much for joining us. If you like what you hear, please like, subscribe, and rate the Horror Fried podcast, and catch up on all our previous episodes on your favorite streaming service. Links are available on our Instagram page. Once again, we'd like to thank our friend Dr. Gangrene for hosting Horror Fried Theater this season. Y'all can find him on Instagram, YouTube, and at his website, drgangrene.com. Now it's time to swap spit and hit the road. Perfect. Well, Maggie, we're very excited that you were able to join us again. Please tell everybody where they can follow you and find you.
You can follow me on Instagram at ScreamQueen89. That's really the best place to come chat with me about all things Scream and horror.
Join us next time as we discuss 2022's They, Them. Until next time, remember,
you always hurt the ones you love.
Bye.
Bye.
It began as a prank and ended in murder. Fantastic choice.